Hello, I have got another recipe for you in this video today. It is my Mediterranean quinoa and beans recipe. It is so simple to make. It can be eaten as a dinner or dehydrated to take out with you in the backcountry. I hope you enjoy it. This recipe will serve 4 people. Now, instead of using your traditional wheat or rice in a recipe, I love using quinoa because it is a complete protein, which is perfect if you are on a vegan diet. The reason why it's a complete protein is it contains all of the essential amino acids. I am going to boil this up first of all, and the ratios that you normally do with dried quinoa is 3 times the amount of water to the weight in what you've got. So I've got 150 grams here, so I'm going to add 450 mils of hot water to a pan with a little bit of vegetable stock. It takes half an hour to cook, but only 20 minutes of that is cooking time. So you've got 20 minutes once you brought it to a boil, just let it simmer, and then in the final 10 minutes you turn off the heat and then just leave the lid on and let it absorb the rest of the water. When it starts to boil, just give it one last stir, replace the lid, and then turn it down to simmer. While that's simmering behind me, I'm now going to chop up 2 red peppers, 1 red onion, and then crush 2 cloves of garlic. I'm then going to chop up some sun-dried tomatoes. Then add 100 grams of the chopped sun-dried tomatoes after about 10 minutes of cooking up the garlic, the peppers and the onion. Then you want to add 160 grams of frozen spinach. Turn the heat down to simmer and then leave for a few minutes until it defrosts. Once your spinach has defrosted, it is now time to add all the remaining ingredients, which are 1 tin of black-eyed beans drained, which is about 250 grams. I much prefer using the canned ones, especially when I'm dehydrating, because they seem to hold together a lot better. I mean, any beans when you're dehydrating will split and look a little bit messy once they've fully dehydrated. Don't worry about it, it will still taste delicious. 100 mils of passata, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh basil chopped up finely. If you're able to get fresh oregano, that is fantastic. Put in about a tablespoon, otherwise a teaspoon of dried oregano. And finally, we have nooch, which is nutritional yeast. Add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of this, depending on your preference. I like things quite cheesy, so I'm going to be adding in 3 tablespoons. Now all that's left to do is add the cooked quinoa to it, stir it all together and enjoy. And it really is that simple. don't like sun-dried tomatoes, feel free to replace with just chopped tomatoes or fresh tomatoes if you so wish. Right, so you can either enjoy it as your evening meal tonight, you can keep it refrigerated for a few days in an airtight container, it will be absolutely fine, or you can dehydrate it for your next backcountry adventure. So if you're wanting to have something that is nutritious, delicious, and got some protein in it for your trail, then you can dehydrate it to make it more lightweight. So what you need is a dehydrator, and all you're going to do is let the mixture fully cool, spread it along the trays, and then leave it for about 8 to 12 hours. It's one of those things, depending on your dehydrator, depending how long it will take. But the one thing to bear in mind is to make sure that you weigh your food before you put it on the dehydrator, and then weigh it after it's been on the dehydrator. The difference between those two figures is how much water you're going to be adding to it at camp to rehydrate it again. Because what you don't want is something ending up really sloppy and horrible, or too dry and chewy. So it will be utterly delicious at camp. For those of you that do not have a dehydrator or don't want to invest in one, you can do it in an oven. You've just got to make sure that your oven goes under 100 degrees Celsius. So ideally it needs to be between 60 and 100 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 140 to 200 Fahrenheit. And then all you're going to be doing is lining it on baking trays and then leaving it in the oven. And it should work the same. Again, it can be a little bit hit and miss if you've never done it in the oven before. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you try the recipe, I would love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. I will continue sharing more recipes for you for at home and on the trail. And if you have any requests that you want me to do in particular, then please let me know, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye!